in the kitchen cooking with Thunder Bay.
Ooh, listen to that sizzle.
Yeah, Christmas just a few weeks away now. I can't believe it. But you would think with this next dish you're about to see that it's Father's Day that's around the corner.
Because it's a big slab of meat. And I'm not talking about Mike Stigler. He instead is the chef at Thunder Bay, and he's going to prepare this mouth-watering Dopplebock Steak, which I've never heard of.
Dopplebock, yeah.
Is that what goes on the steak, or this is a type of steak?
It's Dopplebock means double bock, so it's the type of beer that makes this steak marinade really good, and it makes the sauce that goes on it really tasty as well.
That looks delicious.
Yeah, I have a candidate for annoying toy.
You do?
Yeah.
I was thinking of it when you guys were talking. My son a couple years ago got a toy chainsaw from his uncle that lives out of state.
Yeah.
That when he pulled the trigger on it, just makes the most annoying chainsaw.
Yeah.
It lasted about an hour before it mysteriously disappeared.
Any of it, like Nerf guns and any of those things too.
Oh, man,
you know?
it's terrible.
Can't find it.
We could have a whole segment just about that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
So the Dopplebock steak here.
Yeah, is this on the menu currently?
Yeah, this is on the menu, and this is actually a revision of an old dish. We used to have the drunken steak, which had like kind of a heavier cream sauce on it. So this steak is equally as drunk, but it's got a lighter sauce on it.
All right.
So what we start off with here.
Not quite as sauced?
Not quite as sauced, no. So this is a choice sirloin steak right here, which is marinating in a little bit of this Dopplebock beer, some soy sauce, a little bit of honey. And we let this marinate overnight.
Okay.
We toss this around really nicely.
Yeah, is that fine?
You can cover it all the way. If you're going to have the opportunity to get in there and flip it around, you can just flip it over like about halfway through. If you're going to leave it sit overnight, it'd be a good idea to go ahead and cover it all the way. Or you can put it in a bag, squeeze out the air so that you're in there like that. So we're going to go ahead and remove this from the marinade and get this into our pan. So on top of this, we're going to put some steak seasoning, which is your basic kind of like a Montreal style steak seasoning. And you want it to have the larger pieces of garlic and onion and pepper in there, because it being grilled, it's going to hold up to that heat without burning on there like that. So if you, with this weather that we've been having, you could cook this on your grill outside.
For sure.
But theoretically, Christmas time, it's supposed to be a little bit colder out, right? So we're going to use a pan like this and cook it on the inside.
All right.
So while we've got that going, we're going to cook up our stuff that's going to go with it. So we've got a little bit of potatoes over here, which are yellow and red potatoes. And we're going to put that in there with a little bit of onions and peppers.
That looks good.
And we're going to get that kicking up together. And you want this to be high heat. I'm going to smoke up the whole studio here for you. That's just the way it's got to be. Sorry.
I love rosemary.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
And we're going to put some fresh rosemary in there as well. So I like to just take my fingers and go ahead and slide that right along the stem of the rosemary and get that in there.
What did you have on those peppers and onions? Because when you put those in there, that flavor, that smell really
those peppers and onions are roasted off in the oven with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper.
Gosh, that smells
and then we add those into the potatoes at the end. So then you get that real fragrant rosemary smell going on there.
Smells awesome.
Then we also have a roasted mushroom medley. Now this is 3 different kinds of mushrooms that we have here. These are cremini mushrooms, they're portobello mushrooms, and then they're button mushrooms that are once again roasted for flavor. And then we're going to add a little bit of this Dopplebock beer right in there to kind of give that a little bit of drunkenness going on. Toss that all around as well.
That, does it just sort of simmer off?
It does, yeah. I mean, you can see as long as you got a nice high heat going, like what we got going on here, all that'll kind of simmer right down. The mushrooms are kind of like little sponges, so they're going to go ahead and absorb a lot of that flavor that you got going on.
Wow, that's
And we let that cook right down, and those flavors are just going to concentrate right in there.
Are you supposed to, this might be a silly question, but when you eat things with rosemary in it, you know how the leaves stay pretty big? Are you supposed to pick them out, or are you supposed to eat them?
Well, they're kind of like pine needles a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you saute them enough, and then they start to cook down, they get soft enough that you can eat them. Yeah, if they're in there more as an aromatic, just to give the aroma, you can kind of pick around them. We leave them big enough so that you can. So then what we have here in this sauce that I'm going to put on the plate is a reduction of the Dopplebock marinade, basically. So this is the Dopplebock marinade, which once again has like soy sauce, Dopplebock beer, a little bit of demi-glaze, which just helps to reduce it down and get it nice and thick. We put that down on the plate first, and then we're going to go ahead and set our steak right down in that nice pool of sauce, just like that.
Yep.
And then we're going to take our roasted potatoes, excuse my reach here, but we're going to go ahead and slide these guys right onto the plate like that. And then we are going to finish that off with our mushrooms, which are going to go right on top of the steak really nicely. And you can tell we didn't cook any of this for a really long period of time. What we like to do in the restaurant is try to get some of the simpler steps done ahead of time. And if you were making them at home, I would recommend that you do that sort of thing too. That's sort of a nice trick. Like if you're going to use roasted vegetables or roasted mushrooms, instead of trying to do the whole thing on the night of the party, roast them up ahead of time, let them cool, and then you can just hit them in the pan as needed. to order right
Smells
there. So there we
delicious.
have the Dopplebock
Just
Steak,
delicious.
and we have that as this version right here, which is 9 ounce, which is a little bit bigger one on the dinner menu, and we also have a 6 ounce version of that steak on our lunch menu as well. So you can get that lunch or dinner, you know, anytime you want it out at Thunder Bay Grill.
That
Looks delicious.
I'll cut us a piece
You
up.
need to make a reservation. You guys are probably closed Christmas Day, right?
Christmas Day we're closed. We're
Okay.
open Christmas Eve day just for a couple hours for lunch. We're doing a New Year's Day brunch
Okay.
this year. So New Year's Day is on a Friday, so that's actually a double brunch week for us because we'll have New Year's Day brunch on Friday and then our regular Sunday brunch as well.
Okay, so make a call, make a reservation so you can take advantage of one of those brunch times and get this steak. It's a Dopplebock beer marinated steak. It's a 9 ounce for dinner or 6 for lunch.
You got it, you got it.
It looks delicious. And you can find Thunder Bay in Pewaukee just off the interstate at Highway 164. You can also call them for a reservation. It's 262-523-4244. You can go to thunderbaygrill.com. Delicious.
Yum. Thanks, Mike.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was really good. Thank you.